Welcome to the Colling County Detention Facility, located in McKinney, Texas. Due to unfortunate circumstances, you were arrested and placed in our custody. Your behavior will determine your housing assignment while in book-in. Inmates who follow rules and behave may stay in open waiting with access to the phone, TV, and restroom facilities. Misbehavior may result in confined housing with only the basic services allowed by law. You are expected to follow rules for your safety as well as others. This video will explain the procedures you will go through during the first few hours of your incarceration. Initial acceptance. Upon completion of the arrest paperwork, your valuable property, which consists of money, jewelry, cell phones, and other items, were documented and stored in a safe area. Any bulk items you may have brought in were placed in a bag with your identifying information attached. You were brought in and searched by detention staff. We processed your initial picture and fingerprint for identification purposes. Open waiting. An officer explained the open waiting rules to you, and you will be expected to follow these rules. If you fail to follow these rules, you will be removed from the open waiting area. Rule 1. Inmates will not leave the carpeted area unless permitted or otherwise instructed by the staff. Rule 2. Male inmates will use the designated male restroom in the area, and no more than one inmate at a time will be permitted to use the restroom. Rule 3. Female inmates will use the designated female restroom in the area, and no more than one inmate at a time will be permitted to use the restroom. Rule 4. Inmates will be considerate of others using the phones. Inmates must stand while using the phones. Rule 5. If you are an individual with a disability, advise a detention officer of any accommodations you may need. You have a right to file a grievance if you have a complaint about ADA accommodations. Rule 6. Inmates will not congregate in the open waiting area or by the phones. Rule 7. Inmates will not talk or gesture to inmates of the opposite sex. Rule 8. Inmates must remain seated if not on the telephones or using the restroom. Inmates will keep their feet off the chairs. Inmates will not approach the television set. Rule 9. Female inmates will wait on the side of the open waiting area facing the window. Male inmates will wait on the side facing the wall. Rule 10. Inmates will discard litter and trash in the trash receptacle. Rule 11. An inmate in need of help from the staff will walk to the edge of the carpet line and wait patiently for staff assistance. Rule 12. Inmates must keep the noise level to a minimum. Rule 13. Inmates must keep all clothing items on and not cover their heads while in the open waiting area. Rule 14. Violation of any rule may result in removal of the inmate from the open waiting area and placement in a secured holding cell. Meals will be offered 3 times daily. The booking officer will call upon you at this time. Emergency procedures. There may be times in booking when an emergency occurs. You will be given directions from booking staff to follow and are required to do so. During any emergency, you are not allowed to talk or move freely about. Booking process. An officer will enter your information from the arrest report into the computer. This will not require your presence at the booking counter. After the information is entered into the computer, the officer will summon you to approach the counter, either by calling your name or by requesting an available booking floor officer to escort you from a special holding cell. At this time, you will be allowed to make 2 free phone calls. When you approach the counter, the officer will then advise you of your charges and bond amounts if applicable. When this process is complete, you will be photographed and fingerprinted. The booking floor officer completing the assignment of picture and prints will then advise you if you are able to use the TouchPay kiosk. During times of increased booking activity, it may take up to 24 hours to complete the booking process. Some individuals may require priority processing upon their acceptance. Please be patient during this time. Arraignment process. If there is not a bond set on your charge, you will be arraigned by a Colling County judge. You will see a judge in person or by video. Arraignment is conducted daily, normally in the morning hours. During this time, bond will be set, and you will be allowed to post bond if applicable. Each morning, arraignment will be conducted in the jail, and your presence may be required. Bonding process. Collin County accepts the following types of bonds: cash bonds, pre-trial release bonds, personal recognizance bonds, property bonds, surety bonds, and attorney bonds. Detention staff are prohibited from providing legal advice, including advising you of what type of bond to use or which bonding agency to use. Located near the phones in the waiting area is an approved list of bonding agencies located in Collin County. The Jail Case Coordinator's office will automatically screen you if you are eligible for a pre-trial bond. Only a judge issues personal recognizance bonds. Medical process. During your book-in process, you will be seen by medical services. At this time, you will complete medical documentation to include how to access health care. You will need to include as much information as possible so that we can better serve you. You will then be evaluated for any chronic issues, such as high blood pressure, diabetes, etc., or any immediate medical concerns, to include any medications you are currently taking. Once you get to your housing area, there will be a nurse assigned to each cluster who will assist with your medications and continued care. Housing process. When the booking sergeant determines that you will be housed, the booking staff will begin the steps to provide your housing assignment. You will receive an armband, which you will be required to wear at all times. You will then shower and give your clothing to the booking officer. Jail clothes will be issued along with other items you will need. During this time, you will be given certain items in your property that are allowed upstairs. These items include 10 photographs not larger than 5 by 7 inches. Polaroid or laminated photographs are prohibited. Religious text. Dentures and related adhesives, contact lenses and related containers and cleaners, and 1 pair of prescription glasses. No tint. If you were transferred from another facility, you will not be allowed to take any commissary with you when you're being housed. If you have valuable property, these items will be transferred to the bonds division, where they will remain until you leave. Your money will be placed on an account, allowing you to purchase items such as commissary or medical expenses. Release process. When you are eligible for release, all of your property will be returned to you. You will sign a receipt acknowledging the return of these items. Please review this carefully. We are not responsible for items not received once you leave the facility. Releases occur throughout each shift. The average time to properly release you from our custody can be 1.5 to 2 hours. However, during times of increased booking activity, it could take up to 4 hours. Please be patient during this time.